Today's Black history lesson is the truth about Muammar Gaddafi. There are a lot of people who believe that he was an evil man. He was a brutal dictator. And that is the reason why the U.S. assisted his enemies in bringing about his demise. So let me play this clip first before we get into this.
For more than 4 decades, he ruled Libya with flamboyance and fear. But tonight, after months on the run, Muammar Gaddafi is dead. His chaotic last moments were caught on tape, and we should warn you, this video is gruesome. There is Gaddafi, dazed, gravely wounded, but still alive, dragged through the streets after his convoy was bombed, and he was shot. At the height of power, Gaddafi called himself Africa's King of Kings. Ronald Reagan called him the mad dog of the Middle East. But tonight, this final image, a violent end for a violent man.
So they said Gaddafi was a violent dictator, and that is the reason why the U.S. assisted his enemies in bringing about his death. But there's a lot more to it, and I'm grateful that the truth is coming out about Muammar Gaddafi, because the media feeds us what they want us to believe. And unfortunately, a lot of people just accept it. They don't question anything. This U.S. politician decided that he was going to tell the truth to set the record straight. Check this out.
Libya. We were the ones that caused Gaddafi's death because Hillary Clinton played a game over there, and I was the one that went over there during the war. Gaddafi asked me to come over. I took a Biden staffer and a Bush staffer and a film crew leader from ABC One in New York, Larry Menti, with me, and a cameraman, because I didn't want the CIA to set me up. I hand-carried the letter back from Gaddafi offering to resign. The U.S. didn't want him to resign. They wanted to kill him.
Why?
Because Gaddafi, and I met him 3 times. I took Biden on my second trip to Libya, by the way. He went with me when I spoke to the whole country. And every meeting I had with Gaddafi, he wanted 2 things. He wanted to unite the African continent into a group of nations economically, like the European economy. He wanted to base it on the gold standard. And the U.S. and Europe didn't want that. And the other thing is they wanted control of his oil, and they wanted control of his sovereign wealth.
Kurt Weldon told the truth. The U.S. felt threatened by Muammar Gaddafi because he was constantly trying to unite all the African nations. That was something he worked tirelessly at. And so they were afraid that he might accomplish that. And then they would lose their grip over Africa and all its resources. So Muammar Gaddafi was a Pan-Africanist and also a great leader. They don't want you to know how great this man was. He was not what they want to portray him as. And the majority of his people did love Muammar Gaddafi. They were crazy about Muammar Gaddafi, and they had good reason to. So I want to play a clip to show you what Libya was like when Muammar Gaddafi was alive and ruling there.
They said it was about freedom and democracy, but here's what they didn't tell you. Under Gaddafi, Libya had no electricity bills. Power was free for all. Loans came with 0 interest, and banks were owned by the people. Newlyweds were gifted $60,000 to start a life. Education and medical treatment were completely free, and literacy rose from 25% to over 80%. If you wanted to farm, the government gave you land, seeds, livestock, even a house, all at no cost. Couldn't get treatment in Libya? The government paid over $2,000 and covered travel abroad. Gasoline cost just 14 cents per liter. Buy a car? The government paid half. Unemployed after graduation? The state paid your average salary until you found a job. Oil profits were deposited directly into citizens' bank accounts. Mothers who gave birth received $5,000. Bread? 40 loaves cost only 15 cents. And Libya had 0 debt with $150 billion in reserves. Self-reliant Africa was rising, and that is why he had to go.
So we see why the people loved Muammar Gaddafi. He was a great African leader. As a matter of fact, I would even dare say the greatest African leader. I mean, he put his country first. Electricity was free. Imagine that, not having to pay no electric bill. Power was free for all people who lived in Libya. There was no interest on the loans, and the people owned the banks. Newlyweds were gifted $60,000. Education and medical was free. Anybody could go to the hospital. They didn't have to have any money. Farmland was given to those who were willing to be farmers with the seed, livestock, and even a home to live in. If you couldn't get the type of medical treatment that you needed in Libya, they would assist you to go where you needed to go to get that medical care. Gasoline, 14 cents per liter. If you bought a car, the government paid half of that. If you graduated and was unemployed, they would pay you a basic salary until you found a job. Oil profits were deposited into the citizens' accounts. And a mother who gave birth to a child was given $5,000. Bread was very, very cheap. You can get 40 loaves for a very small amount of money. And Libya had no debt. They had $150 million in reserve. So he was, in my opinion, the greatest African leader in our time. Another thing he did for the nation was known as the Man-Made River Project. He spent billions of dollars to set up a system to bring water into Libya because they didn't have a lot of water. He forever put the people in his country first. So he had a lot of enemies because he was doing the right thing as a leader, putting his people first. He was forever trying to unite the nations of Africa. He went and did something that was the last straw. He started secretly his own currency, and he was going to try to encourage all the African nations to dump the US dollar and use that gold currency.
Muammar Gaddafi tried to launch a single African currency and challenge the US dollar. The gold dinar was developed in secret by the former Libyan dictator, who stockpiled 144 tons of gold and a similar amount in silver to back the currency. Leaked Hillary Clinton emails, who was the US Secretary of State at this time, showed that while the 2011 US deployment in Libya was done under humanitarian grounds, the behind-the-scenes conversation was all about oil and money. There would have been a huge negative effect on the West if Africa was to unite and take control of its own oil and natural resources. The gold.
So that was the last straw that broke the camel's back. That's why the U.S. encouraged and supported Muammar Gaddafi's enemies in toppling his government. So I really, really hope you enjoyed today's Black History lesson. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe.